Welcome back to Late Night. We're here with Killer Mike. I think a lot of Americans appreciated the importance of two more Democratic senators and maybe didn't know the candidates as much as people. Certainly this morning, last night, they got introduced to Reverend Warnock, who you knew very well. He certainly strikes me as a person we're very lucky to have representing us in the Senate.
I'm gonna tell you one of the most beautiful things I saw doing this was how he approached. He knew the campaign was going to get ugly. He ran a commercial with a puppy, because who can hate a person holding a puppy? But more genius, I thought, in terms of what worked for him was how the universe works. I don't belong to any Abrahamic religion, but I find myself in churches like his more often than people would think. There was a commercial that was ran that essentially called him a radical socialist. In their description of who he was, anti-war, anti-imperialism, anti-authoritarianism, I was like, I wonder whoever put this hokey commercial together realized that they're describing Jesus. You're describing the Messiah that half of this country believes in. And I thought that was an incredibly godsend as a commercial, even though it was something that meant to tear him down. It really described the Christ that he serves. I really believe that he believes that. I went to his church and I've seen people see a man of integrity who lives on that pulpit like he lives off it. And I'm very encouraged. I'm usually not encouraged to see people from the clergy take political office, but I don't think we're sending a politician to DC. We're sending a public servant, much like he said, and I'm very enthused to see him. And also Jon Ossoff is a young man of integrity. I believe that he wants what's best for this state and this country. And he, like Ossoff, like Warnock, like John Lewis before them, are going to work their butts off, whether in Congress or in Senate, are going to work their butts off to make sure Georgia's represented well, Georgians are represented well, and the United States is represented.
We had Stacey Abrams here a couple weeks ago, and she was confident. I will admit, I think just based on the last 4 years, I maybe had a cloud of pessimism. How did you feel on the ground in the day leading up to it?
I knew they were going to win. And I say that because this country has shown itself, thankfully, because of Donald Trump's more people voting him this time, shown itself still to be very in need of healing and very in need of unification. And I saw that the votes that were going for them were not just votes for the Democratic Party. There were not just votes even for these two candidates, but there were votes to bring a union back together, to bring a healing together, and hopefully to progress in a way that we haven't progressed. And I'm looking forward to progressives on the ground in Georgia, like Mayor Ted, who just got elected to the Cass County 6th Commission, making real progress on the ground. I'm looking forward to Fani Willis, who's our new DA in Fulton County, making progress on the ground. I'm looking forward to people like who just got John Lewis's old, Nikema Williams, doing the same. So I feel that we're going to be a more progressive state. I, again, just like to say, I really respect our Republican governor for calling it like it was, when it was. He didn't wait. He didn't fiddle-faddle. And I want to say that our two new senators are going to do a fantastic job. And we flipped the state blue. I want to thank hip hop as a culture. I'm talking about from the clubs of Blaze and Peaches, the Blue Flame, to the clubs of Compound. Hip hop got out. Whether it was artists or whether it was people involved in promotions like Pula or Tracy, and they made sure our people got to the polls. And I want to really respect the athletic culture here via the Atlanta Hawks and Tony Rexler and Steve Kooning opening up their arena for people to vote. And I want to thank hip hop for getting out in the streets and encouraging their fans to vote. And thanks, Stacey, for leading the way as well.
It also seemed like the WNBA had a huge impact on this election. You mentioned.
Oh, man. Their owner ain't hitting on much, but those gals, man, God bless those women's soul. They rocked it. They showed the boss who was boss, man. I wanna give it up to our team, man. The WNBA as a whole, but God bless us, man. Those sheroes really showed us what worker solidarity looks like. And God bless Laufer, you're going to have a heck of a time trying to keep that team under control.
What is, if we're 2 weeks out, and, who knows, maybe by the end of this show, it'll actually be a certified election. But what is a wish of yours for the early days of a Biden-Harris administration?
My wish is that it's going to be around the time they're elected, the celebration of Dr. King's birthday. What if I challenge everyone who's watching this to go watch King in the wilderness. So you get the chance to see who Dr. King was in his last 2 years of life. I would like to challenge Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to watch that as well, because I think this country owes African Americans a debt. And it doesn't just mean, hey, I want what's best and what's right for us. I'm saying that if our community is allowed to be as strong as we can potentially be, you can have what happened in Georgia all throughout the South. You can have it in Birmingham. You can have it in Jacksonville. You can have it in Charlotte. You can have it in Tampa. You can have it in North Miami. You can have it in Mississippi, Louisiana. You can have it, but you have to play the game fair. Part of the reason Georgia was able to flip blue is because of the cooperation of the African-American community and not allowing imaginary barriers to stop us. We all got on one accord and worked our butt off, and we worked with allies and friends and partners. We can do the same thing, and I think that's what's possible. I think that's what we should aspire to. And in terms of policy measure, what I would like to say from a policy perspective is, Biden, I would like for you to take up the challenge I gave Sanders, and he adapted. Not only allow people out of jail for nonviolent drug offenses, allow them a pathway into the burgeoning marijuana market, so that unlike when liquor deprohibited, a mafia of sort happens, and then you have people who were exited out of the business and weren't allowed to be in it, in particular the Black community, jazz clubs and owners and things. I say that now that marijuana is opening up, allow us to be in there with preference, because we have suffered under unjust drug laws, some of which you sponsored. You know they weren't good for us now, so let's make right and make amends. I would also ask that HR 40 be supported, which John Connors had supported since 1989, was a study into reparations, because that is old, and we need to reverse what years of Jim Crowism did, because this community has only been open, free for 57 years. And beyond that, we need action for the working class in this country. Working class Americans need preference over corporations, and I challenge this administration to be that for worker class Americans of every race, creed, and color.
Killer Mike, we've got a minute left.
Yes.
He was one of my favorite rappers. We found out he passed away 2 months ago. Any thoughts you can give us on MF Doom?
Yes. Make sure you write it in all caps. Rest in peace, Doom, man. Rest in peace, Doom. Rest in peace, Doom. LP called me and said, get your butt to the lobby now in the Ace Hotel in Shoreditch in London. Why? Because Doom is here. I ran downstairs. Mos Def was in a bathrobe. Doom was there unmasked. Me and LP got stoned, drank coffee, and chilled with Doom in the Ace Hotel. Bucket list. God bless. The most amazing concert is going on in heaven right now. And I'm slightly sad I missed it, but I'm sure I'll see him in a dream. Rest in peace. Thank you, Doom.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure. Killer Mike.